When I started college 4 years ago, I had a dream to be a YouTuber. I ended up pouring everything I had into trying to make this dream come true. All because I was convinced that if I worked hard enough, success was inevitable. And yet, here I am, 4 years later with very little to show for it. I have barely more than 8,000 subscribers, and I might make $60 this month. And with graduation just a few months away, I've been wondering, did I make a mistake? So this video is about being honest with myself and with you guys about what it really means to chase a dream. And I'm gonna get just right into it with the reason that I started YouTube in the first place, which was because I wanted to be a college vlogger. Back in high school, I was obsessed with getting into a good college, and I'd watch these vlogs from creators like Elliot Choi and John Fish, who would show their campus life and all the experiences being a college student. It was so inspirational for me that it made me realize I didn't just want to live that life. I wanted to be on that side of the camera, documenting my journey, sharing all the ups and downs, and hopefully impacting people the same way these guys had done for me. So when I uploaded that first vlog, College Movement Day at Duke University, I wasn't just testing the waters. I was all in on being a YouTuber. I knew I could be just like all those amazing creators that I watched, that I had the talent, grit, and determination to get there. And honestly, in the beginning, it was that belief that set me apart. Because around the same time that I started, a lot of people I knew were also trying to be YouTubers. It felt like everyone and their mom was trying to be a college vlogger. But most of these people didn't last very long. They'd post a couple of times, not get many views, get embarrassed, and then they just stopped trying. And it's not that my videos were better than theirs, because they weren't. They were just as bad, just as cringy. But I kept going because I saw something they didn't. I wasn't just making videos. I was building a story. My story. Every struggle, every moment I kept going was another chapter in the bigger picture I knew I was creating. And I believed, with everything in me, that one day it would all make sense. And I did see success. One of my best videos was when I showcased all the freshman dorms on campus. It felt like the entire student population had seen my video. People would come up to me, asking for a picture, recognizing my work. And I also found a community of other creators who I could relate with, people far ahead of me who understood the grind and the journey. And all of this and more culminated in me pulling the trigger to study abroad in Japan for my entire junior year. It felt like the perfect trifecta. I could grow my YouTube channel, live in my dream country, and pursue my education all at the same time. I told myself, if I worked harder than anyone else and made truly amazing videos, I'd finally reach my dream. And so, when I went to Japan, I worked harder than ever before. Posted every week and documented what it was really like to live and experience Japan as a foreigner. I even hired a Japanese narrator to narrate my life like I was in an anime. No one else was doing that. And I managed to build a passionate audience of fans who showed up for every video and who I loved engaging with. And after an entire year of relentless work, I gained 5,000 subscribers and was making $100 a month. It's not nothing. It's not nothing. But it's also not the year where I finally broke through and where I could finally benefit from all the hard work, all the sacrifices, all the blood, sweat, and tears that I've been putting into this craft for so freaking long. Instead, it marked yet another year where I had to get back on the horse, pick myself up from all the despair, all the doubt, all the negative emotions that made me want to just give up and quit trying to be somebody. I had to pick myself up from all of that and just go again. And I actually did that. When I left Japan, I had a new channel direction that I was even more excited about. That's the thing about doing YouTube for so long. It forges a very strong resilience in you. Kind of like an NBA shooter who misses 7 shots in a row but refuses to hesitate on the 8th. I've learned to brush off past failures and keep taking my shot with the same belief as before. Because if I don't do that, I get hurt way too easily. When you put your heart and soul into your videos, working on every frame, obsessing over each detail, you're putting a part of yourself out there for the world to see. And if you see that part of yourself get ignored, discarded, slandered, it crushes you. You You take it so personal. You believe people don't like you specifically, and that you're not worth anything. And over time, you start to wonder if you're even cut out for this, and if you're not just a big fool for thinking you were the special one that could make it out of the millions of people that try. I had moments where I was mad at myself, or mad at the world, because this wasn't supposed to be how it went. I was supposed to be this big success that everyone read about, the guy that made his parents super proud, and the strong older brother that my siblings could look up to. I wasn't supposed to be this bum with no future ahead of him. Then again, I always did say that as long as I got to do what I loved, I wouldn't mind living out of my car. And I mean that. But the cruel joke is lately, I haven't even been sure if I love making YouTube videos anymore. I've stopped doing vlogs, the thing that literally defined my YouTube career and the reason I started making videos in the first place. Because somewhere along the way, they started to take over my life in ways that I didn't expect. I found myself rating my days by whether they were content worthy, living more for the video than for myself. Every moment felt like it had to be captured, analyzed, and shared to the point where I couldn't fully experience life without wondering if it belonged in a video. It became too stressful, too draining, especially for someone like me, a homebody, which I know is surprising, but I really just want quiet nights just working on my little craft, which is YouTube a lot of the time. And now I can't even enjoy watching other people's vlogs. I'm too caught up breaking down every frame that what used to be an escape for me has just become another part of the job. So I've been trying to figure out what other kinds of videos I can make on YouTube that would still ignite that spark in me. Unfortunately, YouTube isn't exactly making this process easy. Every single video I post now sets a new record for the lowest performing video I've ever made. And honestly, I get it. I built 99% of my audience through Japan vlogs. People subscribe for Japan. They didn't sign up to watch a guy making an anime out of a video game or diving into a video essay about what's meaningful to him. If I was them, I'd click away too. No hard feelings. But here's where it gets tough. Ethan, who is me, is stuck in this situation where he has to decide between doing what the audience wants, which would definitely make them happy, or doing what feels true to himself so he can figure out what makes him happy. It's not an easy choice. I know I can grow my channel faster and get better performing videos if I just do what everyone wants. But deep down, I know I wouldn't be happy doing that anymore. And for me, that makes all the difference. For a while, I really did think that I'd found my true passion in the big video game idea I had. I mentioned it before, bringing it back. But my goal was to revolutionize the space by blending game elements with a cinematic story, turning it into something like a movie or anime. It felt like the perfect next step because in a way, I was still vlogging. It's just now my vlogs would be slaying dragons and going on these amazing adventures. I spent months working on this behind the scenes while I was in Japan, pouring everything I had into this idea. Convinced I was gonna make it work. And then, when I finally released the series, it flopped, of course. I made 2 episodes, then tried switching to another game, and I even experimented with VR, but none of it connected. As I kept trying to figure out my next step, testing out more and more ideas, I became more and more directionless. Can you believe I even considered making Minecraft videos at one point? I don't even play Minecraft. That's how lost I felt. And eventually, this lack of direction left me with nowhere to focus all the energy and determination I'd carried for years. I was burnt out. Without a clear path or goal, all that passion I had poured into YouTube dissipated. It was like trying to hold onto water. It slipped through my fingers because I didn't have anything solid to channel it into. And with graduation looming closer and closer, reality started to sink in. As much as I hated to admit it, I had to get realistic. I had to accept that YouTube, as much as I wanted it to work, wasn't panning out the way I had envisioned. So these past couple months, I took my first real break from YouTube. And to be honest, It felt like this massive weight I'd been carrying around for so long had finally been lifted off my shoulders. I actually ended up with so much free time that I didn't know what to do with it. I spent so many of my days just doom scrolling Instagram or rewatching an anime for the 4th time. But I also spent more time with friends and family, and I even picked up running. This space allowed me to really hone in on what I wanted for myself in the future. I realized that I missed expressing myself and sharing my stories with the world. I came to understand that I thrived when I was working towards something bigger than myself. I love the challenge of growth, the idea of taking something small and turning it into something impactful. I'd done it before actually, quick flex, but I used to run a lawn mowing business and grew it to 10 employees and a couple hundred clients. And while that had been a great experience, it wasn't very scalable, the whole business. And moving forward, I knew that I wanted to focus on something that allowed for exponential growth. And in reflecting on all of this, I found that I still love YouTube. It checks all the boxes for me. It's a place where I can grow, express myself, and create work that feels meaningful. I don't think I'm ever gonna stop trying to be a YouTuber. This feels like something I can truly dedicate my life to. That being said, the way I pursue it will have to change. Soon, I'll no longer have the freedom to create videos as long as my classwork is done. With graduation looming, I'll need to get a real job and find ways to pursue YouTube on the side. I'll figure it out, of course, but now it's all about finding balance and learning to navigate what I want alongside the reality of my situation. My new video idea is making videos like this, with this cool looking set, talking about things that I find meaningful, whether it's life experiences, lessons I think are important, or just topics I enjoy. The focus will be on sharing things that I care deeply about. I think the internet can be such a loud, overwhelming place sometimes, and I want to create something different. A quiet, authentic space where people can connect with honesty and depth. That's the direction I want to take moving forward, and I'm excited to see where it leads. And above all else, I have no regrets about this YouTube journey. Even though I'm nowhere near where I thought I'd be, even though the journey has been so much harder than I ever imagined, and even though the road ahead looks way longer than I expected, I still wouldn't change a thing. Because I'm proud of myself for daring to dream, for living my life on my terms. I've found a peace and a happiness that comes from knowing that I'll never have to look back and ask myself if I should have tried that YouTube thing back in college when I had time. I went for it, put it all on the table. And to me, that's everything. I can stand tall, knowing that I'm the type of person to follow his heart and live boldly. And who knows, maybe one day, just maybe, I'll actually become a real YouTuber.